this video, I'm going to show you how to scrape data of football matches from the FIFA World Cup. So we're going to scrape all the matches played so far from 1930 to 2018. And also we're going to scrape the fixture of the FIFA World Cup that is in Qatar, which is this one. And we're going to use Python and a library called BeautifulSoup. So let's get started. Okay, to scrape the data of football matches from all the World Cups, first we need a list with all the years that represent a World Cup. For example, from 1930 to 2018. So these are the years that had a World Cup. All right. After that, what we have to do is install the library to scrape a website. In this case, I'm going to use BeautifulSoup. And to do this, what we have to do first is install BeautifulSoup. So what we have to do is open the terminal and write pip install bs4, which represents BeautifulSoup. So we press enter and we install BeautifulSoup. And after that, what we have to do is import this library. So we write from bs4 import BeautifulSoup. So now we have BeautifulSoup. And after we do this, we have to get the link that we're going to scrape. In this case, I'm going to start with the 2014 World Cup, and I'm going to paste it here. So I'm going to leave the link in the description, and I'm going to give it a name, which is going to be web. So this is the website that I'm going to scrape. After this, what we have to do is send a request to this website. And to do this, we have to use the request library. So what we have to do is import requests. I'm not sure if this library comes with Python. In case it doesn't, what we have to do is open up the terminal again and write pip install requests. So we press enter and then we can continue with this. So we need requests to send requests to the website that we're going to scrape. So I'm going to copy these requests and then use the get method. So I write get and I have to write the website where I want to send my request. In this case, this website that I created the variable. So after this, when we send a request to a website, we get always a response. So I'm going to name this variable as response. And after we do this, we're going to get a response and we want the text of this response. So we use the text attribute to get the text of this response. So what I'm going to do now is print this response so you can see what this looks like. So I printed this, and what we have here is the HTML of this website. So the HTML behind this website is printed here. So if you know some HTML, you can recognize some elements like the tags and all of that, but you don't need to know HTML to scrape a website, but it helps. So after we do this, I'm going to create a variable named content. So this content is gonna be parsed, and to parse this content we need a parser, and we're gonna use a parser named LXML. But first I'm gonna use this BeautifulSoup that we imported, and then this accepts two elements. The first one is the content and the second one is the parser. So content and then the parser, which is LXML. This LXML we need to install. So we need to open up the terminal and write pip install and then LXML. Then press enter and you install this parser. So now I'm going to name this as soup. This is the typical name that we use for this. And this soup is going to help us extract data from this website. We cannot extract data if we don't have this soup. So now that I have this soup, I can start scraping this website. So basically what we did here is the common steps that we need to get started with the BeautifulSoup. Now we can start scraping this website. So I write soup.find. In this case, to get an element, we need to use either find or find all. The first one helps us get one element in particular, and the second one, find all, helps us get multiple elements that match the name of the tag and the class name that we're going to write in a couple of seconds. So in this case, I'm going to use find all because I want to get all the matches here, all the matches that were played in the group stage, in the knockouts, the semifinals, and the finals. So I'm going to get multiple matches. So I'm going to use find underscore all. And then we need to follow a syntax. But before I tell you this syntax, we need to go to the website and we need to inspect this website to see the HTML behind this website. So to do that, I have to right click and then click on inspect. So after this, we get this developer tools, and here we can see the HTML document. So this is the HTML that represents this website. And to get one specific element, what we have to do is click here on this button on the left, and then select any element that we want. All right, now to script a website, what we have to do is find a pattern. Every time that we want to scrape a website, we need to find a pattern that we can use in our code. So here, a pattern that I discovered is there is something with the matches, with the rows actually. So this match is inside a row. So if I, for example, I select Brazil here, I click on it, I get this element. But I don't want only Brazil, I want the whole row that gives me the match. So what I have to do is in this HTML document, just scroll up a little bit until I find the row that contains all the data. So I'm going to scroll up and finally I found this row. As you can see, this element highlights all the row in blue, and that tells me that this is the row that I was looking for. So if I now click here in this arrow, I can minimize this element and I can see if there is a pattern here. So first, let's identify these the elements in this HTML element. So first we have a div, this is the tag. Then we have this item type is a class name, and then we have another class name which is class with the class with the value football box. So this is one element. Let's see the next row. So we have this one, and as we can see, it has the same elements. It's exactly the same. So we have div and we have class, and then we have football box is the same. And if we scroll down, we have the same for the next match. So as we can see, these three rows have the same elements. So we can use this to get all the rows in this website. So we're gonna get from group A to group B, C, D, until group H, and then semifinals, knockouts, and well, the final. So we're gonna get all the matches, and that's good. So now I'm gonna show you the syntax I was talking about before. So to extract the data inside this element, we have to follow a syntax, and this syntax tells us that we need to write first the name of the tag. So here the tag, and then the name of the class. So we write class, this is a parameter class, and then the name of the class. So let's identify this in this HTML document, or actually in this element. The tag is div. As we can see, the name is div here in blue. So here, instead of tag, I write div. And then in the class, we have to write the name of the class, which is football box. So I copy this and then I paste it here. This is the name of the class. All right, so now we have this element that represents this row. So this is a match. So I'm gonna name this as match. But since we're gonna get all the matches, because it's gonna be like this one and this one and this one, because as you might remember, we're not using find. Find will give us only the first one, but find all gives us all of them. So find all gives me all the matches. So I'm gonna name it matches because we're gonna get all the matches inside a list. So when we use find all, we get a list with multiple elements. Matches is a list. All right, now what we have to do is loop through this list. which is matches. So I have a list and I'm gonna loop through it. So I write for match in matches. I write the colon, and then I'm gonna extract each data that I want from this row. So in this case, I just want to get the name of the home team, which is in this case Brazil, the score, in this case 3-1, and the away team, in this case Croatia. So to do that, I'm gonna open this element with this, clicking this little arrow, I think. And then what we have to do is identify this element. So I'm gonna scroll down a little bit, and then I'm gonna identify the one that gives me the home team, which is this one, F home. So we have this element th with tag th, and then with class name F home. So this is the one I'm looking for. Then for the score is this one, F score, and for the away team is this one, F away. So we have all these elements. Now we only need to get them inside this for loop. So what I'm gonna do is write match. In this case, match represents the soup that we created before. As I told you, we cannot extract data without the soup. But since this soup is inside this matches list, we can use the match as a replacement, we can say. So this match is gonna get us all the data, or it's gonna help us get inside these elements that are here in the rows. So we're now in the rows that is here. Now we want the data inside the rows. So we're going for F home. So match dot find in this case, because I just want one element inside this row. And then I'm gonna write first the tag. In this case is th. And then I'm gonna write the name of the class, which is in this case F home. So first th, then comma, and then class underscore equal to F home. So I have now this. And now to get the text inside this element, what we have to do is use the get text function. So I'm going to write get underscore text parentheses. And with this, I have the name of Brazil. So the text inside this element is Brazil. And I'm going to get that. So now I'm going to duplicate this twice, and I'm going to change the name of the class. The second one is F score, and the last one is F away. So now F score and F away. Great. So now we have all these elements. And now to see the results, what we can do is print this. So I'm going to print each of them to see the results that we have so far, to see if everything's working fine. So now I print this, and now I can run it. So I right click and run this to see what we have so far. And as you can see, all these elements were printed. So we have from the first match, which was Brazil-Croatia 3-1, which is this one, until the last match, which is Germany-Argentina. This was the final. And if you scroll down, you're gonna see that is here, the last match. So 1-0, and it's here 1-0. So we successfully extracted all this data. And now what we have to do is put all this data into a table. And to do this in Python, what we have to do is use a library called pandas. Pandas is a package that allows us to better manage the data that we have. So basically in pandas, we work with data frames that is the equivalent of a table in Excel, but it helps us manage our data efficiently in Python. And to use pandas, what we have to do is import pandas. But first, of course, we need to install it. So we have to go to the terminal, write pip install pandas, and yeah, that's pretty much it. We press enter and we install pandas. So in this case, I'm going to import pandas as PD. So PD is going to represent pandas. And now to create a data frame, which is a table, basically is simply a table, what we have to do is create lists to build this data frame. So what I'm going to do here is create 3 lists. One for the home team, the other for the score, and the last one for the away team. So I'm going to write home equal to this empty list, and then here the score, then away, and that's it. Now I have to append each element to these lists. So I'm gonna delete this print one by one so I don't get any error. So it's ready. So now I'm gonna write home that append, open parentheses, and with this we append each home team to the home list. And then we do the same with the score, and also we do the same with the away team. So away.append, then we open the parentheses, and that's it. So we have each element in each list. So with this, we have the lists. Now what we have to do is create a data frame. And something I like to do is first create a dictionary to organize my data, or my lists in this case. So I'm gonna create a dictionary called dig_football. And I'm gonna open these curly braces and write the keys. In this case, you can name it as you want. I'm gonna name it the same name I put for the list. So home, score, and away. And the values are gonna be the lists that we created. So the home list, which is this one, then the score list, which is this one, and finally the away lists. Again, these names can be different from the keys. And finally, what I'm gonna do is create a data frame. So I write PD, which represents pandas, that data frame. This is the method that we're gonna use. And then I'm gonna use this dictionary that I created, and I have it here. So with this, we create the data frame, and I'm gonna name it as df_football. So this is my football data frame. And finally, what I'm gonna do is also create a column that identifies the year of this data frame. For example, this is the World Cup 2014 from the Brazil. This World Cup belongs to Brazil, but we don't care about the country, but the year 2014. So to do that, to register that the year, we're gonna create a column named year. And then I'm gonna write it equal to, in this case, it's gonna be only for Brazil, and it's gonna be 2014, which represents the World Cup 2014 Brazil. So that's the final World Cup. And now I'm going to print so you can see the data frame. So I print this, then I right click and run, and we get this data. So we have all the data that we extracted better organized in a data frame. So we have from the first match, Brazil-Croatia, the year 2014, and the last match, Germany-Argentina, the final in 2014. So that's how we extract data from this Wikipedia website. But we only extracted one single World Cup, this 2014. But what we can also do is extract data from all the World Cups from 1930 to 2018. And then also we can extract the fixture of the 2022 World Cup. And to do this, I'm going to create a function. So what I'm going to do is first define a function which I'm going to name get_matches. And this is going to have as input the year. Because as you can see, the year is going to change. It's the only thing that changes. Then I'm going to put all of this inside this function. And then we have to identify another pattern. In web scraping, we always look for patterns most of the time. And here we have to see the website. So I'm going to the website again, and something interesting that Wikipedia has, this website in particular, is that it organizes let's say the links based on the World Cups based on the year. So this website remains the same, but the only thing that changes from, for example, the World Cup 2014 with the World Cup 2018 is the year. For example, if I write here, instead of 2014, if I write 2018 and press enter, voila, we have the World Cup 2018. And that works for all the World Cups, also for the 2022, which is the coming World Cup, Qatar. And also, for example, here, 1930, which is the first World Cup. We can also get it by just writing here instead of 2022, 1930. And we have the data of this World Cup. So now what we have to do is just implement this here in our code. And to do that, I'm gonna use something called fstring. Fstring is basically some kind of a string that allows us to put variables inside the string easily. So to do this, we only have to write the f in front of the quotes that we have here, and then we have to introduce a variable inside this string. We only need to write these curly braces. So now instead of writing 2014, we can write year. So this represents the input that I have here. So this is gonna be for all the years that we have in this years list. And then we have to look for the changes that we have to make because we're now using that year variable. So everything here remains the same, and here we have another change. So instead of writing 2014, we have to write year, which represents my year input. And that's pretty much it. Now we can test this function by writing, but there is something else. Here I need to return something. So instead of printing this, I'm gonna use return, and we're gonna return this data frame, df_football. So this is the data frame, and finally we can test this function. So I can write the name of the function, get matches, and then we can write the year that we want. In this case, I'm gonna write 2018, which is the last World Cup. So 2018, and we can print this to see the results. So we print this, and now I'm gonna right click and then run this and see what happens. So we have the result. I scroll up, and we have from the first match, which was Russia, Saudi Arabia, 5-0, and the last match, France, Croatia, 4-2. So this is all the data in this World Cup, and as we can see, this function is working just fine. But there is a little detail I want to mention. There are some years, or actually some World Cups, where we don't have the same pattern. So for example, let's go to 1930. In this World Cup, actually it's here, 1930. If we inspect this website, we can see that we don't have the same pattern that we use here for the home score in a way. So for example, if we use the function and we extract data from 1930 and we press run, actually we don't get all the matches. I'm not sure if it was for 1930. I think it was for the World Cup 1982. I'm gonna run, and as you can see, we only have 4 matches, and this is very weird because in the World Cup 1982 there were more matches. So if we check out here, we see that there are a lot of matches, but we couldn't extract those matches because we don't have the same HTML document. So if we inspect this, we see something different for example, the home team. It doesn't have this this thing that we use, the fhome class name. It has a different class name and different tag name, I think. So what I'm trying to say is that for the old World Cups, we might not extract all the data, but we can use another approach that I'm gonna show you in the next video. So our function is working just fine, but for some years, we cannot just extract all the data because they just don't follow the same pattern. But as I said before, we're gonna deal with that later in the next video actually. And now I'm going to finish this by extracting all the data of all these years. So what I'm gonna do is first use a for loop. So I'm gonna loop through this years list. So I write for year in years. And then I'm gonna use the function to get all this data. So get matches, and then I have to write the name of the year. Actually this year variable that is inside this loop. And we're gonna get all the data of all the World Cups. So now we need to store this inside another list. So to create this list easily, I'm going to use list comprehension, which is basically the same but with a different syntax. So I'm going to use get matches here. I'm going to put this here, and then I'm going to put this here. This might look weird if you don't know list comprehension, but it's exactly the same. But this helps me create a list faster. So here I can name the list, which is, I'm going to name it FIFA, and this is basically the same. I can use this approach that I used here with home and empty list and then using append, but this is another approach that does exactly the same, but it's shorter, we can say. So after we do this, we get all the we get one data frame for each year. So we get a data frame from 1930, 1934, and so on until 2018. So what we have to do next is concatenate each data frame. So we only have one data frame or one table. And when I say concatenate, I mean join all the tables. And to join all these tables, we have to use the concat method in pandas. So I write pd.concat to join all the data frames or all the tables of all the World Cups. So now I have to write FIFA because this is the list that has all the tables. And then I'm going to add an extra parameter, which is ignore underscore index, and set it this equal to true. This basically ignores the index of each data frame, which is not absolutely necessary, but I just want to add it. Then I'm going to write df underscore FIFA, which is going to be the final data frame, which is the combination of all the data frames that we extracted here from 1930 to 2018. And finally, I'm going to export this to Excel, actually to a CSV file. So I write to CSV, and then I'm going to write a name for this file. In this case, I'm going to name it as FIFA underscore World Cup underscore historical data.csv. We need to write the extension, and I'm gonna add a parameter which is index equal to false. This allows me avoid these index that are here. So for example, here I have the index 0, 1, 2, and 3. If I don't want to export this into the Excel file or the CSV file, I have to set index equal to false. So I only export the columns home, score, away, and year. So that's why I write index equal to false. And with this, we have all the historical data from 1930 to 2018. And finally, I'm gonna also get the fixture of 2022. So if we go here to 2022, we're gonna see that we have exactly the same structure, but we have a single small difference. Here we have the matches, but we don't have the results because the World Cup Qatar 2022 hasn't started actually. So we only have the home team, the away team, but we don't have the result of the match. So that's why this is gonna be only the fixture. We're gonna get instead of the score, we're gonna get match 1. So here I'm gonna write get matches, which is the name of my function, and then write the year 2022. So with this, we get the fixture. So I'm gonna name it as df underscore fixture. So this is the fixture, and now I'm gonna export this as a CSV file. So I write to underscore CSV, and then I'm gonna name it something like this that I have here, but instead of historical data, I'm gonna name it underscore fixture. So that's CSV, and then index equal to false. So we don't export the index, and that's it. Now we can run to see all the results. So I'm gonna right click, run this script, and wait a couple seconds. All right, the script finished running, and now we can open the files that we exported. This FIFA World Cup historical data and the fixture. You can open it with Excel. In this case, I'm using PyCharm, and I have a plugin that allows me to read these CSV files inside of PyCharm. So I have these two files, fixture and historical data, and I'm just gonna open this first one, historical data, and I have this this file. So this is the CSV file that I'm opening in PyCharm, and this letters and BSP is just something that the plugin doesn't read well, but actually this was extracted successfully. So we have all the matches from the first match in 1930 to the last match in 2018. So the final France-Croatia 4-2. Then we can also open up the fixture of the World Cup Qatar 2022. So we have the first match, which is gonna be Qatar-Ecuador, and the last match, which is gonna be the winner, winner 1 with winner 2. So this is the final match, and that's it. That's how we scrape data using BeautifulSoup. And in the next video, I'm gonna show you how to scrape the missing data that we couldn't scrape using BeautifulSoup, because we successfully scraped data from most World Cups, but there are some World Cups like 1982 where we couldn't scrape the data because it has a different pattern. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to extract the missing data using Python and another library called Selenium. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to this channel for more content like this. That's it for this video. I'll see you on the next one.